On today's episode of the Ducks on 503 podcast, we're going to be talking about the two recent commitments the Oregon Ducks have landed in the 2024 class. I'm your host, Dominic Peterson, and this is the Ducks on 503 podcast, where we talk all things Oregon football. Whether you're a first-time viewer or a long-time viewer, guys, I kindly ask that you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. But most importantly, guys, telling your friends and family, word of mouth, no doubt, telling your friends and family about the podcast. What helps grow this thing the fastest? Appreciate everybody who does go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button and join the Duck Zone family. Also, at Duck Zone 503 on social media is the quickest way to get the quickest updates directly from us about all things Oregon football. All right, guys, let's get into today's episode. Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks landed two new commitments over the last couple of days to the 2024 class, making some additions here, guys, right before the spring game, April 29th, 1 p.m. Be there at B Square, right? It's going to be big time. We're going to have a lot of visitors at the spring game, a bunch of 4 or 5 stars. I put the list on my social media if you guys want to go check it out. That could lead to a whole bunch more commitments. We're already at 8 in the 2024 class. This is big time, guys. We landed 2024 3-star offensive tackle Trent Ferguson, and it wasn't over the next day. 2024 4-star defensive lineman Tion Gray comes to the Ducks. Awesome day. 2 days really to be a Duck. We get 2 additions to the team. Let's start here. Let's break down 2024 3-star offensive tackle Trent Ferguson. Committed to the Ducks on Wednesday, April 12th. He chose Oregon over Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, and Nevada. The addition of Ferguson makes it the Ducks' second in-state player to their 2024 class. He's the number 5th ranked player in the state, and he'll be joining North Medford tight end AJ Pugliano in Oregon's class. The 6'7", 300-pound Ferguson, big guy, is the number 70th offensive tackle, number 859th overall prospect in the class, according to 247 Sports composite ranking. And again, guys, I know you sit there and go, number 70 is 859. Man, that's not good. Look, these guys, this kid, Ferguson, has realistically only played 4 games of high school football. Okay, he's really a basketball player, kind of blew up a little bit into football, and is developing quick. So he doesn't have a lot of film. And the offense he plays in, it's kind of like a wing T offense, plays in Oregon as well. That doesn't help him play in the state of Oregon. Not a lot of competition here. So his rankings are a little low, but he has a senior season coming up, and he's going to put a lot more film on tape. And if Dan Lanning's landing guys that this low, I mean, come on now. They have an eye for talent, and this kid could easily shoot up the rankings. We kind of seen it with Fox Crater, right? A current Oregon commit that the Ducks have now in 2024. When Oregon landed him as a commit, was really low in the rankings, 3-star kid. Now he's 4-star, getting visits at Texas A&M, Georgia. I mean, big-time programs want this kid now, and they could lose him. So could this be a commitment, a backup commitment that Dan Lanning and the staff were getting after seeing? I've been seeing guys, Fox Crater getting visits from these big time schools. Who knows? Could he be looking to bounce from the Ducks now that he's kind of a more wanted prospect in this class? We'll see, or will he stick with the Ducks? Never doubt, we have a giant 6'7", 300-pound offensive tackle in Ferguson here. So big time get. Ferguson was the 7th commit to Oregon's 2024 recruiting class at the time of committing. Ferguson, we have some quotes from him here from this 247 Sports article. You went ahead and did an interview with 247 Sports, so I'll go ahead. This is a Ferguson quote here. He said, "The biggest reason I picked Oregon was the fact that I have been a Duck my whole life. It has always been my dream to one day play for the Ducks, and after meeting with Coach Alik Terry, Coach Cav, a.k.a. Mike Cavanaugh, the assistant O-line coach here at Oregon, and Coach Cutter, I know it was the right move for me." So basically, the more he got to know Alik Terry, the O-line coach for the Ducks, the new offensive line, the more comfortable he felt here. Again, Ferguson continues saying, "I knew Oregon was the place for me after spending a lot of time talking with Coach Terry about the offensive line development, and I realized that I was going to be in good hands at Oregon." He talked about how his door is always open to talk and get extra work in. Ferguson also said his family was on board with this move, no doubt. I mean, local kid, right, living in Oregon. "My parents love Oregon," Ferguson said. "They felt that this is the good fit for me to develop as a player and be taken care of on and off the field." So shout out that 247 Sports article for giving us some insight on his commitment there and things he said. But it wasn't over for the Ducks, okay? That happened on Wednesday. Then Thursday comes around. And this was a surprise one. 2024 four-star defensive lineman Tion Gray committed to the Ducks a day after Ferguson on Thursday, April 13th. Oregon flipped another SEC defensive line commit, flipping his commitment from Missouri Tigers to the Oregon Ducks. Tion Gray was on a visit last weekend and also held offers from Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Washington. And boy, oh boy, I like to say this on this podcast. Let me tell you guys. When guys come on a visit to Oregon, it just changes something. I've seen it time and time after again, okay? A recruit will come on, looks like, okay, maybe it's just a visit, he's just looking around. No. Oregon, when they get guys on campus, they're looking to secure guys. And the Oregon visit hits home again for another guy, Tion Gray. I mean, we've seen this with other guys multiple times. The 6'6", 295-pound Gray is the number 34 defensive lineman and number 324 overall prospect in the class, according to 247 Sports composite rankings. So Gray is now the 8th commitment to Oregon's 2024 recruiting class, joining tight end AJ Pugliano, offensive tackle Fox Crater, receivers Tyseer Denmark and Jordan Anderson, edge defender Jackson Jones, safety Aaron Flowers, and last but not least, offensive lineman Trent Ferguson. Count them up, 8 guys total. Gray had been committed to Missouri for roughly a month before committing to the Ducks. He put out a quote when committing to the Ducks saying this. Gray says, "First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the Mizzou football family. Coach Drink, Coach Davis, and the entire staff have been great throughout the entire process. After careful consideration, I have decided to decommit from the University of Missouri. This is not a decision that I take lightly. However, I must make the best decision for my life and football future. I decided to commit to the University of Oregon. I look forward to Saturdays in Eugene." Boom. So with the additions of 3-star offensive tackle Trent Ferguson and 4-star defensive lineman Tion Gray, the Ducks are now number 7 overall on 247 Sports 2024 team recruiting rankings and number 9 overall on the On3 Sports 2024 team recruiting rankings. So boom, just like that, the Ducks are top 10 class in 2024. Cusping the edge of a top 5 class. Big list of 4- and 5-star visitors coming on campus for the spring game. We all know how that goes. Dan Lanning and this staff get guys on campus, man. We can see a flurry of commitments going into May and June. Official visits will be happening for a lot of guys. When we see official visits happen for recruits, that's how we know they're pretty serious about the program and it's getting down to commitment time. And June and July and the summer months is when it's not that off time in the summer, they're taking the OVs, and then around the season you'll start seeing more commitments again. So we'll keep our eye out. Ducks, however, jump into a top 10 class with 2 new recent commitments. We just broke them down a little bit and what they said about it here on the podcast. If you guys like content like this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in once again. I'm your host, Dominic Peterson, guys. I will see you in the next podcast. As always, guys, go Ducks.